Hi guys, Frank here from Build Your Own, and this is my 1994 Chevy Cheyenne C1500, and today I want to test the alternator on my truck, and I also want to use some Griots Speed Shine. In the last video I did of this truck, and I'll put the link down in the description below, I put air in the tires and I used the Griots Spray-On Car Wash, right? It's the waterless car wash. I sprayed on the truck and it looks really, really nice. During that video, I talked about the Griots towels I was using. I just got these towels in the mail today. They're the Griots Garage terry weave towels, the PFM terry weave towels. They're super thick and they're really nice. So yeah, I want to test the battery. I need to go get a multimeter, a voltmeter and all that. So, but before I go run and do that, I want to wipe the truck down with some Speed Shine. So let's wipe the truck down with some Speed Shine. Then we'll run and pick up a multimeter. Maybe we'll also pick up a load tester as well, maybe. And then we'll come back and we'll test the charging system and see if I need to put a new alternator in this truck. If you know anything about me, you know I like to keep my truck looking clean, and this truck is almost always clean. Even when it's dirty, it's clean. So anyway, we're gonna give it a quick spiff before we go pick up our testing stuff so we can test the alternator. And so yeah, I used the spray-on car wash last time. Today we're gonna use the Speed Shine because the truck just has a little bit of dust on it. I want to knock it off, and I like to use two towels. I talked about that in my other video. I like to use a wet towel. That's what I'm gonna apply this with. So I'm gonna spray the body, and I'm gonna wipe down I'm gonna wipe off the majority of the product with one towel, and then I'll use the other towel, my dry towel, to wipe off the remaining residue and buff it out to a nice shine. So let's go ahead and get started. I like to do my truck in sections. I don't know if you can see that, but I've already sprayed a liberal amount of the Speed Shine on just the one back panel of the truck here. I like to do sections, so I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off and get it all buffed up. It's probably not gonna look much different than it already did because the truck is really, really clean, but that's the way I like to roll. So no, you can't really tell. Here's the door. I just wiped this back panel. Maybe it's a little bit shinier, maybe it's not. You can see my reflection really, really good, and that's good enough for me. So let me just go ahead and do the rest of the truck real quick, and then we can get out of here. We can go to my favorite place, Harbor Freight, to pick up these cheap tools so we can test the alternator and the battery. The battery is new, however, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, look how clean that truck is. You know what, guys? Just because you have an old truck, because a lot of guys watch this channel, comment on this truck, just because you have one of these old trucks doesn't mean it has to look old and broke down. I always try to make this truck look as nice as it possibly can. Even under the hood of this truck, it looks amazing and it's clean. It actually was cleaner under here, but you know, you drive it around, it gets dirty. I actually have a video where I detailed the engine compartment of this truck, and it came out amazing. I will make sure to put the link to that video down in the description below. Now, back to this charging system. So this battery is an Optima YellowTop battery. It's not very old. Of course, I did a video on this as well. The link to the playlist to this truck is extensive, so the playlist, the link to that is down in the description, so you want to catch up on all these videos. So this battery's new, so I don't think the battery's the issue. I think the issue is this alternator right here. I don't know how long this alternator's been on the vehicle. Could be original, I really don't know. Right now, no accessories are running on the truck, and under the hood, the little voltmeter looks fine. But when I, you know, turn on the heat or the AC or anything like that, and turn on the lights at night, I can see that voltmeter go down. So that's what I want to check out. Let's check out that voltmeter so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the volts inside the truck, and it looks like it's at like 13 or something like that. I don't know if it's jumping by 2s or not. I'm not quite sure. And I've got the heat on, so I guess I do have some accessory on. If I turned off this heater, what do we get? See, it goes up a little bit, and it's almost at 14. Now, at nighttime, and this is when I really, really noticed this, at nighttime, if I'm running the heat at high, like I've got it on now, and if I turn on all the lights, you know, I don't know where it's dropping down to. And so I just want to make sure that the alternator is charging like it should. I want to, you know, I want to put a new stereo in this truck. I want to put an alarm on this truck. Other things are going to pull on the battery and the charging system. So I want to make sure that the charging system is ready for that. What I need to do, because I don't have a multimeter, and that's the easiest. You can get a load tester, but a multimeter is the easiest. A lot of people already have it. So I can hook that up to the terminals here, and then we can test not only the battery, but also the alternator and see how it's charging the battery under load and not under load. So I don't have the tool. I need to go over to Harbor Freight, so let's run over there real fast. This wouldn't be the first time. I have to make a quick pit stop real fast before I head over to Harbor Freight, but look at the shine on this truck. It is looking amazing. I'm gonna step right out so we can get the full sunlight on this bad boy. Look at that. The truck looks fantastic. Okay, let's head in and go get that tools, or get those things we need from Harbor Freight. All right, guys, we made it to Harbor Freight Tools, my favorite place for cheap tools. We can see the truck. It looks amazing. Look at the deep, rich color. I mean, I'm standing pretty far away from this other vehicle. I can see the reflection of that vehicle in the truck. I mean, the truck looks fantastic. It sounds great. So let's go in here, get this testing stuff for the alternator and the battery. In the meantime, this is my temporary stereo system for this truck. This is my Bluetooth speaker. It cuts in and out. So I'm doing a firmware update. So while we're inside, I'm gonna tuck this on there. We'll let it do a firmware update, and hopefully it'll be done when we get back, or when I get back. So I did not buy the multimeter. I went in there, said I was gonna buy a multimeter, found the multimeter, then saw this battery load tester and decided to get the battery load tester. I thought about getting both, but I went with the battery load tester. I watched a video on how to do all this, and it was a really great video, and the guy started off with a load tester, and then he went to a multimeter. So I just decided I was gonna do the load tester. I like that it's got these little clamps here, so it's got something for my battery terminals, because they're those little tiny nuts, so it can grab onto that. So let's get back and test this out, see if it works. I'm sure it's got some instructions in there. Hopefully it'll work, and hopefully I won't regret buying this instead of the multimeter. And it looks like my stereo system's restarting, so hopefully it will be working better now. All right, so now we're back. I've got the load tester. I took a look at the directions here, the operating instructions. They seem pretty straightforward. We got a couple sections here. Testing the battery, we've got testing the charging system, and testing the starter. We're not gonna test the starter, we'll test the charging system, but first we'll test the battery. So let's take a look at these instructions and then hook this all up and see how it works. Okay, so I read the instructions of this load tester for testing the battery. And step one is you connect the positive to the positive, negative to the negative, and right from doing that, you're gonna get a reading. And it should, and per the instructions here, it says it should be over 12. And as we can see, the truck just sitting the battery sitting at, looks like just over 13 volts. So that's good. Now after you do that, the next thing you need to do is put a load on this thing. So you toggle this switch, and you hold that for about 5 seconds to simulate an actual load on the battery. So that's what we need to do next. All right, so let's try to put a load on the battery here. I'm gonna go ahead and toggle the switch and see how that works. Let's give it a shot here. All right, well, we're holding it. It's definitely been about 5 seconds. We're not under 11 volts there. It looks about 11.1 or something like that. So there it is there. So I think our battery is good. When we did the load test, it was definitely in the green area. It was just barely into the green because it was at 11.1, just barely into the green. But per the green, that says battery capacity is good. It was just above weak there, but like I said, I suspect that this alternator is not charging, not up to snuff. I don't know how old the alternator's over there. How old? I've been pointing at the AC this whole time. The alternator's over there. I don't know how old that thing is, but yeah, let's test this and see what the deal is. Okay, so to test the alternator, what it says to do is keep everything hooked up the way it is, start the vehicle up, and then run it at a fast idle speed. So we'll bump the idle up a little bit, and then we'll see what kind of reading we get on this load. Okay, so I've got the engine idle speed up a little bit. It's higher than baseline idle. Charging system, it's almost dipping into the red. It's at the very high end. Looks like it says about 15 volts. So I'm not sure if it's reading correctly or not, but I'm following the instructions as they say. and that's what we're getting. So yeah. Okay, now here I am doing another load test. We can see it's a little bit lower. It's still in the green at just over, oh, I don't know, 14 point something. I'm not quite sure. It's in the green. So I've got no fast idle. I've got my defroster on. I've got the lights are on and all of that. So I've got it under a load with no high idle, and I just want to see where it's at. Okay, so now I got the truck turned back off. We can see the volts drop back down to, what are they at? They're like 13. They went back down to 13. When I had the truck running, it was at about 14, just over 14 with no idle and accessories on. When all the accessories were off and I turned the idle up, it was closer to 15. Now, per that, and that's in the green. Now, per these instructions down here, it says charging system. It says if the display meter needle reads okay, charging system is functional. If it falls in the low red or high red areas, the charging system may be malfunctioning. Now, it was very close to that high red area, so I guess the alternator is questionable. And I guess at the end of the day, it's probably easy enough to just probably change this thing out. So you know what? That'll be a video. We're gonna have to change out this alternator for sure. All right, so that was my first time getting a load tester using that. I think it worked okay. Maybe a multimeter would have been a little more specific about exact voltages, and that would have been nice. Had the multimeter had these little clamps on it like this, I probably would have gotten it. There probably were attachments, but you know, I went to Harbor Freight, they didn't have all that, so, and I didn't want to be bothered, and I just wanted something that was going to work, so I just went ahead and got those clamps. So yeah, that's it there. That's it there. That's a wrap on this video. I think definitely we're going to go ahead and change out the alternator. I think it's okay for now, but yeah, that's going to be that's on the short list to do. So I'm going to do some research and figure out what kind of alternator I want to get, whether I want to get one that's oversized. I want to be specific about what size alternator is in this truck currently, and if I did upgrade, what would be the recommended upgrade. I don't want to have too much alternator because that might possibly be bad, so I've got to do my homework on that. All right guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you found this information helpful, informative, or just entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing a lot more videos of the truck. I've got the playlist to this truck down in the description below. I've got over 30 videos, maybe closer to about 35 videos of this truck now, so you could totally binge watch for sure.